Good morning, guys. It's me, 𝘠𝘠𝘚. I'm back after some break. Anyway, we will continue today our lectures regarding our Schliemann Gambit, Schliemann variation. And after first introduction and a couple more games, I'm going to get back to my own experience. And today's game I presented to you, it's a game from very much last American Open from 2011. I played against Jack Peters with black pieces. And I have some history against Jack because I've been playing against him as a black side in Schliemann Gambit for 3 times already. And every time when we play the game, Jack trying to surprise me with some new weapon. And this time he prepared against me one of the main lines. That's C3. In fact, very first time when I played Jack, I think it was probably about like 8 years ago, he also tried Knight C3. Then he changed his line, he played something else, and now he had to get back to his primary weapon. So I was curious what Jack actually prepared at this time. And very quickly, we have reached one of most very well-known position in this line. And here comes kaboom, which again, as I told you, I haven't expected. Here Jack took on F6. I was trying to recall, my old analysis. In fact, in all my chess career, I have never met this move in real life. I mean, I've been playing against this move in the blitz games most of the times on ICC, but never been playing this line in real, as I said. So I was trying to recall my analysis. What do I do? I knew for a fact I must take here for sure queen takes F6. And now the move which been played very quickly by Jack was queen D1. So obviously I understand it was a home preparation, but still I knew one thing about this line. There is no way in this line white could get let's say realistically real chances to play for win, because the line not supposed to be good for white. So I guess I was trying to understand what do I do here. Many moves crossed my mind here. Obviously I consider bishop g4 to sacrifice the second pawn maybe and try to play for pin, but every time when I was, let's say, considering bishop g4, I thought my opponent could play something like, let's say, queen takes d5, and after king h8, he does this really weird way by castling king side. And in fact, if I capture on f3 after capture here, so it looks like white absolutely fine. So I was trying to understand what's the way going to be most precise way for me to play against queen d1. Since I was seeking for some subject, the king on e1, the king not developed. It looks like the pieces of white kind of getting behind. And here, one idea crossed my mind. In fact, the idea as it happening after the game was completely new. In fact, when I put this game and I run this game through my engines, most of my engines got agree with me. The move which I made on the board was the best. So I played here knight d4. So what's the idea? Idea is, first of all, obviously I'm covering this line. I'm attacking my d5 pawn. Secondly, after knight d4, I'm skewing f2 pawn. As you see, white cannot take on d4 by knight simply because they will get mated. And thirdly, which I knew it's going to become, it's after queen d4, which I knew it's the main move. It's supposed to be the main move. In fact, my second thought, I was considering about bishop e2 move here. Interesting, but seems to me it's kind of passive. And I still believe black has a good game here. They could play pretty much anything. They could try to play c5 with some kind of initiative here. Or even they can try to play, actually take on e2 followed by bishop g4. I was thinking about this possible line to play, But with having king on e2 in the middle, I had a feeling I would have compensation for sure. I have two bishops here, and all my pieces very aggressive, so I thought this is going to be enough. As I said, wasn't like truly calculation. It was actually some kind of positional decision based on my skills, based on my knowledge. I knew there is no way I would have anything here. Let's say king h8, king takes e2. I mean, I could play here either bishop f5 or bishop g4, followed by attacking these two lines. So it should be something here. I'm sure black is fine. I could even play this way, for instance. Also interesting way. So looks like I have a very heavy compensation for my pawn, for sure. So I had a feeling my opponent will go for the main line. And here I prepare a very nice trick, queen e7 check, very unexpected. And here, I mean, at the game when I was playing this move, I mean, when I played knight d4, I thought, while it's the only option, the move which happened in the game actually, it's queen e3. But while my opponent was thinking, I found a very nice let's say defensive move from white side, which just seems like ridiculous, but it's very interesting. In fact, my opponent dismissed this move just because he thought, as I said just before, he thought, oh, come on, has to be ridiculous. But move is very interesting. The whole point of that interfere move is just to make sure the queen will not stand in front, because you see, if you check the theory, if you check the theory of strategy, let's say the old positional theory by Jaenisch, for instance, who was saying defense must be as cheap as possible, and if you're attacking, you must try to be as rich as possible. It means when you attack, you're trying to make sure your most powerful pieces involved in attack at the first, then your minor pieces. So with playing knight e5, white trying to create some kind of mess at the black's camp, making sure the queen will not stand in front. So knight e5, and the idea to play this way, queen e3. So it's kind of, again, hard to believe, but that's what it is. So looks like, well, definitely black has some compensation, but the line is still very unclear. Very unclear. And I thought at the game that's how white should play, not e5. I still believe black is fine here. No worries, because in fact we analyzed also together move queen d5 check. Interesting move. But even here after king h8, it looks like I'm still having compensation, because there's still some tricks here. For instance, I can play bishop g4, and you can't take on g4 because I have this bishop c3 check, and followed by either rook d8 or queen e1 mate in case of king f1. So black always having some tricks here. And in fact, in real game, to find this idea, it's completely like, you know, it's very hard. It's pretty much all machine. But again, at the game I saw it. And I thought, well, if my opponent will find knight e5 followed by queen e3, I will think about what do I do. I mean, besides of queen b4 check, I could consider to play here c6 followed by, let's say, queen d6. Also interesting way to deal with this position. So anyway, my opponent has decided to do the move which I thought originally as the only move to play. And here I prepare queen b4 and queen b5. This is the position I have reached in my calculation at the time when I played knight d4. So when I reached this position, I thought, well, that has to be okay to me, because white king still cannot castle to king side. I have two bishops. My bishop c8 could be very strong, because looks like white could have some issues with light squares. And most importantly, my game seems to me it's easier than to defend from white side. I have many concrete threats as well, as you see. So the only move for white to make knight d4. And here I have prepared very strong move, queen a6. Why it's very strong? The queen remains on this diagonal, cutting the king of making castle. The queen also keeping my eye on a2 pawn and let's say stopping possible castle to queen side for the white king. Black also has very annoying threat c5 followed by d4. And also in general I need to make only one move with my bishop somewhere, let's say here or here, and to connect my rooks and threatening rook e8. So move queen a6 for some reason has been missed by my opponent, and after the game he mentioned that. He said so he considered something like queen c4, any other moves that he thought after knight d4 he's going to secure his king to castle king side, and he completely missed the queen a6 move here. And looks like this is very strong, and also white has some issues. Let's say if they play queen e2 to cut diagonal and prepare castle, then after queen g6 they're still in trouble since they can't really castle because I have bishop h3 move, and now I'm winning exchange by force, as you see. That was another strong part of playing queen a6, because queen a6, queen on a 6th rank has this lift jumping on g6, which will attack g2 pawn and support to play rook e8 and still pin the queen. So as you see, this is very tactical. I mean, playing Schliemann Gambit will give you opportunity to always create these tactical things, tactical ideas. So queen a6, my opponent played here queen g5. Well, looks like it's only move, smart move, because it's helping white bishop to be developed in case of rook e8 check. It's actually pinning the bishop. It's actually stealing g6 square from the black queen. And it also attacked d5. So pretty much multi-optional move, and it looks like white's okay until this move. Very strong, because not many times you can see from b5 to go backward on a6 and then forward to c4. So now c4 square is the perfect for my queen, because queen from e3 left and no one defending c3 pawn. So you can't really play b3 and kick my queen because c3 pawn hanging. So my queen from c4 also cutting the king so far, defended the pawn, and again I still have a threat of playing c5. So white still has to deal with that annoying threat from black side. They played here bishop e3, and now very positional, b6. So, and if you follow my lectures, you know how I'm calling those kind of pieces. I'm calling these pieces donkeys, because this guy on b3 has absolutely no future, and he's completely restricted. If you guys read classical books, you should be familiar with one of the formulas from Zygmunt Taras, who said, don't ever put the knights on b3, b6, g3, and g6. These are one of the worst positions for knight to stay. So, and this game could be one of those proofs. Knight b3, b6, rook d1. In fact, it's really hard to suggest something for white, because again, d4 is a big threat. a5, a4, it's a annoying threat, and pretty much everything it's good for black. My opponent played here rook d1, and after bishop f5, now I have created, so first of all I stop this queen d5 move. Secondly, bishop f5 itself, it's a strong move, and now d4 still possible threat is going to be. And when my opponent played queen h5, here I got impatient. Well, first of all, it's a kind of blunder. That's the only move which makes my game not to be perfect. I planned to play here rook e8, very simple move, which will keep all my threats, and looks like, let's say after rook a8, white in big trouble. But I thought I'm going to simply win the game I have some kind of hallucination in my mind. Maybe because I knew up to this point my position is so good, and I played immediately d4. My hallucinations came because I thought after cd, only what I'm doing, I'm trying to make sure the queen and the rook has no connection with d5 square, and I can play bishop g4 and made my point from e2. I completely missed my queen is blocked, and I can't, the bishop is not protected. So it was obviously upsetting, missing this obvious stuff, some kind of blackout, but luckily I found strength, and I kind of calmed down and said, okay, so what's happening is happening, so let's play from this position. What we got here, now we're down 2 pawns, but we're still having strong attack. And when I calmed down, I still found, you know what, my position is still very strong here. And I played very strong move still, rook a e8. In fact, white still has, many issues here to defend the position. And, let's say if they do dc, for instance, they have to deal with bishop b2. And now this bishop, it's very mighty. The king is absolutely trapped, and you have to deal with this check. This guy is trapped, pinned. It's still a very bad position for white to deal. My opponent has decided to play here queen e2. Pretty much, I'm not saying the only option, but speaking practically, I guess the option to survive is to play queen e2 is the best, especially by knowing my opponent up to this point had really low time to think. But here I prepared very nice moves. I took on e2. I made a check. And that's what I found in my calculation after my, let's say, accidental blunder. I found this move, bishop h6. Very strong move, bishop h6, because, so what's going on right now, if you take, let's say, if you take on g4, I'll take on e3, and I'm winning piece, simply winning a piece, because at least I can take on b3 and take a piece. But I think I was going to play actually this move, and that's actually a mate, because, not mate, but could be mate, let's say here, and now you have to give up on d2. Otherwise, if you do it here, then I have simply mate right here. So I found that in my calculation, and I knew my opponent must play only rook d3. That's the only move to play. And here we have c4, very strong move c4. So I'm attacking the rook, I'm attacking the e3, and my opponent played quickly king d2. And again, after the game, my opponent told me he really prayed for that move. He thought after king d2, he's going to get escaped. But again, when I had my calculation after my blunder, I spent about 20-25 minutes approximately, and actually my concentration was very good, and I saw all this part, including king d2, and I saw the winning line. So rook takes e3, he must take, c takes b3. So it doesn't really matter how you play it, so you must take on b3 because this is too much for you. If you play that way, I think I'm winning still by playing rook e8, and you can't play rook e1 to defend e3 rook, since after ba I'm going to promote my pawn. So pretty much white has to take on b3. And here I could play again rook e8, but I thought, easy for me to play this way. I knew this guy is mine, so I played here bishop e6. Try to get the file. It's actually about slight technique. Bishop d5, no hurry to take the rook. As you see, rook still mine. I'm trying to improve my position first. Again, no hurry about the rook. I'm trying to still improve my position. Well, let's say hoping, maybe my opponent could play here by hoping to play rook f1, and then, oops, rook's still hanging. So my bishops are strong. So king f7, it's kind of, again, about technique, finally forcing white to play g3 and preparing f4. But now, this guy's kind of weak. Now I have a target. Takes. So as you see, my bishop now, great piece here. And rook cannot go on e5 because pawn hanging on f3. And after f4, now my bishop has so much space. And most importantly, I want important tempi because now I'm playing very strong move, rook c4. And finally, maybe for a second I thought, do I missing something? Is it could be drawish? But then I figured out, no way. So it's easy win. And after this, my king simply run. And my opponent resigned because it's basically completely hopeless position for white to deal with. So again, as you see, this game introducing how dangerous could be Schliemann Gambit and how dangerous could be when black actually having this strong initiative and they could simply crush white in these lines. So as I said, if you guys playing this line, if you guys dealing against knight c3, my personal opinion, if we get back to this opening, my personal opinion on move 5, you definitely prefer to play knight f6 because d5, I've been reading some comments from my last game against Peterstein. d5 is completely old-fashioned, and my advice, I'm not suggesting you to play d5 because most of positions which appear after d5 line, it's better for white. But by playing knight f6, I guarantee you, you will get very nice positions, and they are completely in balance, and they are completely playable for black. They're risky. Well, playing Gambit is always risky, but they fine. Trust me, they really fine. I've been playing this line for many years against, let's say, pretty much any level, and even against strong grandmasters, and so far I'm happy with my results. I mean, obviously I have some couple losses, but I have a lot of wins. So in general, overall, I mean, I'm having good results in this line. So my advice to you guys, you can study this line, you can study knight f6 and play, and you'll be absolutely fine. Well, good luck in this line, and thank you for your time, and we'll talk about playing Schliemann in our next lectures as well.